This is N720 Sierra. Steve and Emily here in League City building our Sling TSI. We are working on the vertical stabilizer. Now we have done a bunch of this stuff ahead of time, but we're going to walk you through all of this now. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button when you see our videos, so YouTube algorithm will do whatever it does and show you our videos sooner. All right. Okay, so a lot of this we've pre-done, and it takes a lot. I mean, I literally have been working the last week, half an hour here, 45 minutes here, 15 minutes there, doing little things. So, but I'm going to do an overview of all of that now. My wife is behind the camera. She's holding it today. Hello, hello. So she's going to throw her voice in here every once in a while, so you'll hear her speaking also. So we laid out all of the vertical stabilizer parts, and up here on the video, on our video in the garage, of course, you can see Evan up there, and we watch his videos over and over and over on micro, and literally go 1 or 2 frames at a time to listen, and then back up and over again to hear what he's saying, because as we are finding out, this is a lot more minutia than we first thought it was, which is good. That's fine. So we did mess up on the horizontal stabilizer, so we've stopped working on that. We put it aside. I've ordered some parts from Sling. When they come in, I know how to fix it now. I probably will not shoot a video on that. You've seen us build the video. But there was a couple of spots I will talk about later what I messed up, and we'll shoot a little video on that. But anyway, so we went on to the vertical stabilizer, and we have all these Sharpies out. Let me go over some of this. We've got some scrap metal to play around with. So a couple of suggestions. When I was building and buying tools from the Sling community, telling you what to do, what to buy, I went out and bought a real nice set of Milwaukee high strength steel bits, drill bits rather, I'm sorry. But what somebody forgot to tell me was that they needed to be metric, not SAE. So I have a good set of SAE bits now, which is fine. I can use them for other projects. But what people didn't tell me was buy drill bits in metric, because everything on this airplane is metric. So if they did tell me to buy metric drill bits, it went right over my head and I didn't realize it. So I was having a problem the other day. I talked to Garrett out in Colorado, and he said, no, just buy yourself a good set of metric drill bits, and that'll help you out. So that's what I did. I went to 5 places locally here in town. I went to my Ace Hardware, I went to Lowe's, not a big Home Depot fan. I went to Texas Tool Traders, I went to Northern Tool, and to Harbor Freight, and none of them had metric drill bits. Metric drill bits. So Garrett out in Colorado sent me the link to this, so I ordered them from Amazon. So I have a 19-piece metric drill set now, and then I bought some extras that he told me to get, some 3.5s and 4 millimeters extra you would need, so I ordered them off of Amazon. You can get a metric set of drill bits from a place called Pan American Tool Company out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But I had already ordered this before I figured that out. I've ordered some stuff from Pan American Tool before, have some great products. So anyway, just so you're warned. And no, get metric drill bits for this project. Okay.
By the way, we are not sponsored by any of these products or stores.
Or stores, yes, we wish we were.
Hint, hint.
It would be great if Lowe's would sponsor us. Okay, so I think we've talked about this in the past, but one thing my wife and I did on every single part, when she pulled off all the plastic, and she was very nice to go through and pull off all the little plastic pieces, but we wrote the sling number on every single piece, and then according to the directions here, you have to match the part number with the item number, because what's shown on the instructions is the item number, not the part number. So for instance, this is part number 8. So 8 is this part number, and it says it's a rear spar doubler angle left. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure you understood. That's what we did. We put the sling number on every single part, and then we went back and put, oh, this is a number 8. So when we're looking over here, oh, we need a number 8. Okay, we grabbed that. So that was one thing that we did. Okay, so let's see. Okay, what else? When I laid this whole thing out and Clecoed it, because our friend Drew, who built a sling too, said, "Look, you're gonna do this the entire airplane 3 times," and he was not wrong. He will take it on and off apart. So I laid it out like Evan said. I Clecoed the entire thing so we could get an idea of what it looked like, and then we started going backwards and taking it apart. So that's what you see here. Now, at the very top, this is part number, I think, 1, and there's the sling part, and I've touched it so much it's wearing off. And then this plate underneath is, I think, number 9, if I'm not mistaken. We went ahead and riveted that in because we did get the VOR antenna. The instructions are not real great. They're okay with installing this. And unfortunately, Evan's video only shows putting in the wire for the light, not for the VOR antenna. It would have been great if he'd have put a VOR antenna into it, because that would have helped us to look at some of this stuff. So anyway, the VOR antenna is in. We'll talk more about that as we go through this, but it's just sitting off to the side for now. And we have the cables up here for the that go in here and then down and up into the avionics. And we ordered them from a local company here in town. I don't remember the name right this second, although give me a second. Let's see. Search. Okay, ABR Industries here in Houston. They will custom make any antennas, cables that you want, and they're half the price of some of the other airplane places in town. And they upgrade your cable to a better one with more shielding for less price than some of the other manufacturers do. So you might be interested in talking to them. That's ABR Industries. You can see them on the web, or email me and I'll give you more information. So that cable is up there. It's 30 feet long. They custom made it for us, and they are very nice to send it to us. And we are not sponsored by them, but I talked to them, but they didn't sponsor.
They are very nice people, by the way.
Yeah, Emily went and picked up the cable from them personally. Okay, so we've talked about that. All right, so the other thing that we've been meticulously doing is marking all of these things when Evan says, okay, you got to put in these rib nuts, okay? And in these doubler plates, this is number 12 and 13, these 7 get 6 millimeter holes, so that the rib nuts then fit in there correctly. I was trying to do this with SAE drill bits. That didn't work. I waited, got the metric ones, and boom, they went in perfectly. So we'll be talking about epoxying those in. Got some JB Weld epoxy here, and we'll be epoxying them in and installing them shortly. So that's that. Okay, so on this is part number 8 and 9. What we did is these have to be drilled at 6 millimeter because I've not drilled these yet. I'm going to go drill that in a minute. Riv nuts have to go in there. And then these holes, these 7 get drilled at 4.5 millimeters. And that's straight off Evan's video because these plates here get put up behind here. Let me see, that's the wrong one. like so, and then let me see, where's that line? Yeah, right there. But you have to clear drill these to 4.5 millimeter, and then this goes up in here. So this is marked at 4.5 millimeter. These holes all get drilled at 4.5 millimeter. These are M4 bolts, which are 4 millimeter, so that when the riv nut's installed, these bolts can go through there. So you have to drill them out at the 4.5 millimeters. So make sure you go through and mark. We've got multiple marker pens here that we're using. So very meticulously going through and doing this. We found out that, yes, it's really that important to do all this stuff. So that's what we're doing. We're showing you all of this. And we do have over here a piece of aluminum that was given to us by a friend. And so we are, you can see the 3 holes at the very beginning. I was trying to figure out what size these needed to be for the riv nuts, and some were too big, some were too small, and then we got the 6 millimeter, and it was perfect. So that was our practice piece of aluminum. Okay, okay, and then let me come over here behind you, and as you can see, we marked all the ones that get dimpled, and we went ahead and pre-dimpled them there. But Edmund does talk about these holes down here. This one in the corner has to be 4.5 millimeter. I've not drilled that out yet. These have to be 4.5. This number 2 and number 5 have to be 4.5 millimeter for something that goes on later. But they can see we put the part number on here, the sling part number and the part number for that, and then we've marked all this out and we've dimpled all this, so this is set. It's all dimpled up there now. I have marked on this one side, this one, and we did not dimple it here because the VOR antenna, when we dimpled these, this piece is so round that this one here, I dimpled it, but then when I installed this, I figured out we were not going to be able to put a rivet into that. So I've marked that, and that's why that one is marked out over there, because it's the one that matches this, so I know not to put a rivet in there. I can't. I won't be able to get it behind that VOR antenna. The VOR antenna that they show in the sling directions, the body of it is a little different than the one that we got shipped from, I forget where we ordered this from.
South Africa.
Huh?
South Africa.
No, this,
the VOR antenna.
The VOR antenna we got from locally from one, not in Houston, but in the United States. I think it was Aircraft Spruce, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look at my receipts. But anyway, the body of it is slightly different than the one shown in the directions, so therefore you're going to have to modify. So that's why that's set over here, and we have that marked, that one marked, that we do have to rivet and don't do anything with it. All right, so having said all of that in this, I went ahead and set up the drill press over here with a 6 millimeter bit. So I'm going to drill these for you right now. These two out on this number 8 and 9 pieces. Just to show you that I was doing it on the drill press. Follow me over here. Okay, so these, no. So I always put a block of wood underneath this when I'm drilling, just to make it this, and set it in there, and of course it fits perfectly because we've already preset that. So we knew that they were 6 millimeters. So that's that here. And those. Okay. All right. Okay, so one other thing that somebody suggested, and I did listen to them, when we were riveting or dimpling the large sheets of aluminum, they said to go ahead and take your dimpler and move it out further. I had it set back, so actually you can see where I had it set, and the holes here and here, but I moved it out about 6.5 inches. But you know, these are on wing nuts on the bottom, so I can easily unbolt them and move it back depending on what I need to do. So when we get to the skin for the wings, those will probably be moved back because those will be large sections slid through. And probably the fuselage too, but we haven't got it in. Our fuselage is on order, but it hasn't come in yet. And the other thing he said, because this die was falling out, he said, yeah, just tape it with some masking tape. So that's what I did. So your comments were helpful. I did move this out, and it did make it a little easier to dimple that skin because we didn't have to bend it up so far. So I just want to say we do read your comments, and we have implemented those suggestions. All right, so at this point, the next thing for us to do is to drill these out here on both sides of these, and these at 4.5 millimeters, and I do have that bit sitting out, but I'm going to go switch it, and you don't need to watch me do that. You know how to use the drill press. You've seen me do it. So I'm going to switch the 6 millimeter off, put the 4.5 millimeter, drill out these on both of these sets, and then we will mount the camera in a few minutes, and we'll come back and we'll show us putting in some of these rib nuts. We won't show you every one, we'll show you one or two. And we do have epoxy because even though you drive these rib nuts through, every builder we've talked to, and even Evan suggests it, and Brian out in Colorado suggests it too, is put a little epoxy on this, put it in, pull it so it's tight, and then afterwards go back and put epoxy up in here so that these rib nuts never turn in the future. Because if they ever do, if you ever have to take something out and it starts turning, you're kind of screwed. How do you get that bolt out of there when the rib nut is turning? It's just going to be a pain. So a little preemptive medicine. So we've got the JB Weld. We'll mix it up, put it in here, and do that. All right, so I'm going to cut the. Is there anything else you want to say at the moment? No. Okay. So let's cut the video now. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and feel free to leave comments. And we do have a couple of links to our build GoFundMe and Give Send Go. So we'd appreciate some donations if you're so inclined. All right, thank you, and we'll pick this up shortly again. All right, good evening. It is Saturday afternoon, well, evening. It's about 6:20 or so on the 4th or 5th? 4th of November, Saturday evening. We were shot some video earlier, which is going to be, this is going to be part of that. But we went to work on this section here that is talked about in the instructions, and Evan talks significantly about how to do all this. And so we meant to turn on the camera, but we were so busy when you're using the rib nut tool and this epoxy, this stuff starts setting in about 6, it says 6 minutes.
It's less than that.
And yeah, my wife says less than that. So she was mixing, and I was holding up the rivet gun, and we've got one rib nut on here, and so it took us a while to figure out how to get this to work. But I got this in, and I'm not going to shoot this rib nut into here because I may need it somewhere else in the airplane. But I wanted to show you. This is a rib nut tool from Astro, and it's a rib nut drill adapter kit.
Let me get this close up.
And I got this from, actually I don't remember where I got it from, but I was listening to a bunch of people talking about tools and that we would need this, so I went and bought it. I don't remember, it's kind of expensive. But anyway, so we've got on the, let's see what part number is that. Part 8 and 9 in here, you've got the bottom two on both sides that you have to put the riv nuts in. And we talked this morning about drilling out those holes and drilling the outside holes to 4.5 millimeters so that these nuts, these bolts can line up. Now, the sling does not supply you with these bolts. And so I asked a couple people about it, and they said, yeah, just go buy some M4 bolts from wherever, and I've got an Ace that I can walk to from here just about. And so they're in metric, so I bought 20 of them. We need to paint the heads pink so we know that they're not aircraft bolts. But I wanted everything to line up in here like Evan talks about in his video. So I bought them, and because of the time constraints on putting these in and the epoxy, we just forgot to do the video on us putting these riv nuts in. So in theory what you do is, here's a 6 millimeter hole, and so my wife took the epoxy stick with some this JB Weld just on the threads all the way around here like this, and then I popped it in to here and hit the drill, and it brought the back of it up, and so it made it in tight. So we had epoxy on this side, which then you had to wipe off a little bit around there, and then you pop this thing, and then you reverse it, and then you spin this thing out, and it leaves the riv nut into there. And then my wife flipped it over and put epoxy around the back. And she wiped off the epoxy on this side because this is a side that's flat and needs to be. The ones on the back, you can leave a little epoxy around the riv nut to help hold it. So that's what we did. We just forgot the video because we got so busy with the time constraints on the JB Weld as we were putting these in that we just cranked through them, because we had 14, 7 here, 7 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So that's 14, 18 of them that we needed to get in. So we did that. Now we also found that I kept a thing of paint thinner with some paper towels because this epoxy was getting in places where I didn't necessarily really want it, but I needed to do it. Anyway, hopefully you guys have figured it out. There's some good videos on how to drive these riv nuts out there on YouTube. So you can read that. If you have problems, let me know. The next time we shoot a riv nut, we'll try to remember to film it. But we just got the time constraints because of the epoxy, and I pulled out a bunch of it in the beginning. It was the first time we've used it, and 90% of it went to waste because it dried up before we could finish it. So if you do this, just put out a tiny little bit, mix it up, and if you need more, you can add more. I unfortunately, we used and threw away a good glob of it.
It mixes up really well. It comes out black and white when you mix it together. It's kind of like a steel gray color, so you know you've mixed it up pretty good.
So anyway, and then when we got through with that, I went ahead and just clecoed these pieces in here. They're not riveted in. I'll do that tomorrow. But as Evan shows in his videos, he put the bolts in here because you want to be able to make sure that the bolts go through and work correctly so that you can then I'm not even sure what goes into, some kind of bolt later on in the build goes into there to hold this eventually. Probably, since this is a vertical stabilizer, probably goes in the fuselage and gets bolted in. That's my guess, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. We did it, and then Evan talks about clecoing these parts in. So that's what I did, and tomorrow we'll let this dry, and tomorrow we'll rivet all of these pieces together and then start riveting all of these into here also. And we should be able to get finished getting the the skeleton of this done. And we've got the skin over there preset and ready to go. So that's basically it. There's a few other electrical things we've got to do up here, and maybe I'll shoot some video tomorrow on that part with the antennas and the wire. But that's it. It's not this. It's a little tricky because there's 3 parts here, and parts 8 and 9 only get 2 rivets on each side, riv nuts on each side, but parts number 12 and 13 get 7 on each side in a different area. So you've got 2 and then 7, 2 and then 7. And that's the way Sling calls for it, so that's what we do. So it looks initially, when you're first looking at the vertical stabilizer and you start putting the skeleton together, you go, oh, this is pretty simple. And then you back off and go, oh, I've got to do these riv nuts and all these other things. So it takes quite a bit of time and quite a bit of determination to make sure you get all the fine minutia correct. And that's what we found out, that we were missing a little bit on the horizontal stabilizer, but we're figuring out. In fact, I made a mistake earlier, thinking there was something I had to do, and my wife said, no, it's not that part, it's another part. So I'm glad that she was out here to check for my mistake, because I would have made another mistake. So I'm glad that we've got 2 sets of eyes looking at all of these plans. And that would be another recommendation I would have for anybody doing this, is get 2 sets of eyes on this, because you can easily mess up. I'm envious of some people who can build this thing entirely by themselves without having to have a second set of eyes on it. I'm glad that I have a second set of eyes. So, all right. I guess that's probably it for this part of the video. This is November 720 Sierra. Please like, subscribe to our channel, and if you'd like to support us, I don't have a Patreon account, but we do have a Give, Send, Go, and a GoFundMe accounts. So they're linked into our YouTube, so please feel free to support us. We would appreciate it. And okay, that's probably about it. Can you think of anything else?
Nope. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you weekly.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.